Hello, everybody. Today, I'd like to talk about Ellen White, and she was one of the key founders of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I think it's fair to say that throughout the whole church's history, she was the main person who helped to guide it. And of course, there are other people setting it up, such as William Miller and Joseph Bates, etc., her husband, James White. But Ellen White was really key for the success that the Seventh-day Adventist Church has today. If she wasn't there in her role, in her prophetic role, the church wouldn't be what it is today. So Ellen White had a twin sister, Elizabeth, and her maiden name before she was married was Ellen Harmon. And she was born on 26th of November, 1827 in Gorham, Maine. Gorham, Maine, excuse me. And so the main thing to understand about Adventism, Seventh-day Adventism, or Seventh-day Adventist Church, is that it was very much established in America initially, although it's now worldwide. And it took some time before they sent out missionaries to Europe and other places and so on. Ellen White's father was a hat maker, and she had 7 siblings. So she came from quite a modest background. It wasn't she wasn't sort of born into the palace of kings, etc. And she lived quite a long time. She lived until July the 16th, 1915, and she died in Elmshaven, New York. Now, a key event that happened with Ellen White's life was that she was hit in the face at the age of 9. It was by one of her classmates who threw it, and it did significant injury. So she, throughout her life, she actually had quite frail health, and wasn't expected really to amount to much. So there was the Millerite movement, founded by William Miller, and her father, her family got involved with that, and they were actually disfellowshipped as a family. For continuing with that. She married James White, who died much earlier than her in 1881. And they had 4 sons. And as I was mentioning, the early Adventists had a very much hard, challenging life. And 2 of the sons actually died when she was young. When they were young. One of them was 2 months. This was John Herbert, and Henry Nicholas died at the age of 16. However, 2 of her sons, Edson and Willie, lived into adulthood. Ellen White had many visions and dreams. She was kind of very much guiding and facilitating the church and preventing issues and so on in terms of her role. And she wrote, very widely. And some of her books include Steps to Christ and also The Great Controversy. And within Adventism, Seventh-day Adventist Church, there's a great theme between the devil and God, and the kind of the fight between good and evil. And she wrote a book called The Great Controversy. And I remember reading that she actually became quite ill, and she felt that was the devil trying to stop the publication of this book after her vision regarding it. She was a prolific speaker, and her first vision was after the Great Disappointment of 1844, which was when people thought that Jesus was coming back, and he didn't come back. And she had various physical manifestations, such as she didn't breathe during the visions. And of course, that's a very hard act to follow. People can pretend to be whoever they want to be, but if they're literally not breathing, and it was tested to see that she wasn't breathing, then really that's not something you can fake at all. So her role was very much guidance from God and how to develop the church, how to guide the church. And of course, now all this has paid off because the church is increasing at a very fast rate at a time when many other churches are decreasing in number. She was a health reformer, and she encouraged focusing on a plant-based diet as much as health permits. And one of the films about Ellen White and the Seventh-day Adventist Church is called Tell the World, and I'll leave a link to that in the video description. And Ellen White never saw herself as greater than Jesus or greater than the Bible, quite the opposite. She said that she was the lesser light pointing to the greater light of the Bible. So it was all about the Bible, it was all about Jesus, it was never about her, and it was never about making herself important. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's a little bit of information about Ellen White, the key member of the formation and development of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And you can read many of her books for free online, and I'll leave a link to that to where you can read some of those. And a very, very impressive writer. She had accusations, many accusations and critics throughout her life, and even now there's still continuing. You'll always find critics and accusers, trying to say this and that about her, such as, for example, she plagiarized or whatever, but she was never arrested, she never went to jail, anything like that. And she had plenty of enemies during her lifetime who would have loved to silence her, people who dedicated their life to trying to oppose her. But of course, it didn't work out for them very well because she is now very successful, and they're just now a side note in history. So I'll let you be the judge of that. Okay, but of course, it's always good to question, and we should never blindly follow anything. So come and reason together, as the Bible says. So obviously, I fully support people who have a sincere heart and mind in these matters, questioning and challenging anything about Ellen White or Adventism or about Christianity. Okay, so I hope that was useful, and thank you for watching, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.